You do want to see yourself or get challenged in different roles. You want to play a jock, you want to play a nerd, you want to play sensitive, you want to play tough guy. You just seem to die all the time, right?
Nailed it.
Hi, my name is Michael Fagan, and this is Waiting to be Famous. My guest today is Connor Weil. And before he found fame on such shows as Casey Undercover on Disney, Scream on MTV, NCIS Los Angeles, and movies like McFarlane, Connor worked in a restaurant in Burbank, California. He fell in love and married his wife. How can you not be romantic about waiting tables? This is Waiting to be Famous. I talk to celebrities who waited tables before fame. Please welcome my guest today, Connor Weil. Hey, I really appreciate this. It's nice to meet you this way. I love talking to actors and I love talking to waiters. And if they did both, I love it even more.
I appreciate it. Let me clear something up with you real fast. I was never even given the responsibility of being a waiter, but I was a host and a food runner busboy. So I've been in the hospitality industry. I hope that's not a problem. But
it all counts. I do bartenders, hosts, busboys, runners, food runners. You understand. And I think the first thing you said to me when I said, did you ever wait tables or work in a restaurant? About a Diet Coke?
Yeah, I said you got to know how to bring one to somebody before you can ask for one on set. That's absolutely true.
And as soon as you said that, I thought, man, I'd love to talk to you because you got the humility, you know what it's like. And now when you are asking, you're doing it humble and you're doing it with manners. So you understand what it's like to be treated poorly. So you're not doing that.
Correct. I believe really thoroughly that everybody in the United States, in order to get your driver's license, you should have to do 1 month of either retail or hospitality industry. I just think everybody needs to learn that, like, your ranch isn't that important. Your return on is not that right. It's your choice, retailer or the restaurant, but you got to learn. It would change.
Yeah, I hear that from all my guests, and I also hear it when I hear people interviewed on TV. So you grew up in Oregon?
Mm-hmm. Grew up in
Awesome.
Just north of Portland. Yep. Very rainy up there. Very wet. But
I was there once a long time ago, and you moved to LA when you were in your 16, 17?
16, nailed it. I've been wanting to be an actor forever. Was always leaving school to do theater and just be in it all the time. At 16, happened to get an agent. My family and I don't recommend it. I got one call back and I was like, that's it, we're moving. I'm going to make it, done.
Yep.
And we did. We just stuck around, and it was great. I don't regret it at all. It's been a blast.
Brutal business. And when you say like you got an agent, just to get an agent, people think like, oh, I just got to get an agent. You can't go get an agent. You have to qualify. You gotta have your credits before you get to an agent. You gotta earn an agent, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah, I would have. I mean, if I wanted to just, if I could have snapped my fingers, I would have done it at 12 years old. But no, it took me until 16 to actually meet somebody who could connect me, who then could take a meeting, and like it just fell into place after that. But it is a process. They have to believe in you. There has to be hard work behind that. They're not just gonna pick any cute kid and be like, yeah, let's give you a try, So it's
Yeah, when you worked in the restaurant, you were the best looking guy in the restaurant. But when you go to an audition, you're just one of many, right?
That's absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. But I do have to say, working in the restaurant, it teaches you how to work. My favorite story was when I was a busboy and I was mopping up the floor after service. It was a breakfast place. So it was like 2:30 in the afternoon and we were closed. So I'm mopping up. And my mom had come to pick me up from work, and I was like, "Oh, I can't have to sweep." And one of the busboys was like, "No, go ahead. I got it." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Totally." And he takes it out of my hand, finishes the job in 5 minutes flat. It would have taken me about 20 minutes to finish sweeping that floor. Just hard worker, humble,
prioritize.
And there's just something to learn there, where it's like, man, he's making good money as a busboy food runner, but you got to carry that into the rest of your life, your dreams, whatever you want to do. And I feel like I actually learned how to like work. I can't just memorize lines and spit them. You got to do some work here. So
yeah, I find both industries, you interact with strangers all day and you pretend all day, right?
Yes. It's funny. I met my wife. She was a server. Okay. She was an actual server. I was at the host stand. We met at the restaurant and fell in love in our non-slips, right? That's what we tell everybody. And the thing about servers that makes them so attractive is that they put up with so much, excuse my language, shit from everybody all day, and they have a smile on their face. And you're like, that is just such an attractive quality to be able to handle that nonsense and still like, anyway, you want to go grab a drink after? It's like, yeah,
well,
that's awesome.
I think acting too, right? Because it's brutal before you even have a name, and even like now for you, you're not treated that well unless you're part of a project. You know what I mean? Wow, you can show up on set and you're treated poorly by everybody, and you're like, no, I'm in this. Oh, and then they say like, oh, we didn't realize, right?
But yeah, it's true. Like off the comments of like, you as the actor, you're very replaceable in a humble way. They can't do it without you, but without all these people, you're just another actor trying to make it. So it definitely changes the like, hey, can I please get my coffee right now? To like, hey, you're busy. So next chance you get, could I grab a coffee? Changes the game. All of a sudden people are like, can I get you anything else? Like, do you need anything? And you're like, no, seriously, you're a PA is basically a server, right? Like you think you're on set, like, you do a coffee run. So take a seat. You've earned it,
I was on a set one time in New York, and a star asked for a cappuccino, and somebody came back with 3 cappuccinos. One was sweet, one was soy, one was regular milk. And I was like, oh, this is outrageous how, they didn't even ask, because they didn't want to ask them like, how do you like it? So they were like, gave them money and said, just go get 4 or 5 of them.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's job, right? Like that's the work though. You're like, I don't want to mess up. Let's just knock this out. Well, there's actually a tie-in story that I wanted to tell about how I found out that the show was actually going to go forward. I had shot the pilot, which the pilot's the first episode. And then once you the pilot, you remember, then it's like, okay, now you're unemployed. And you may get on a hit TV show in 6 months, or that's it, and you don't know. So I had shot the pilot in California for Scream, and it went great. Everybody was loving it. You got the little taste of feeling like the superstar. Yep. And then the pilot was over, and that's when I got my job working at a restaurant in Burbank, California, where I currently live. And that's where I met my wife. We started hanging out, and I'm at the host stand one night, and I get the phone rings, and your job as the host to answer the phone. So I totally, hello, welcome, thank you for calling blank blank in Burbank. This is Connor. How may I help you? And my agent and my manager peep up on the phone, and they say, I can't believe we have to call you at work to tell you that you're not picked up. You're going
at the restaurant. So these stories, and I think I was seeing some interviews. The part of Will that you played, that wasn't your initial audition.
You are correct. That's a good memory. Yeah, I auditioned for Noah, who was the geek. His name is John Carna. He's such a phenomenal actor and hilarious. But I auditioned for him. I think my agents liked the role. I thought it was interesting. And I really tried. I had like a button-up shirt on with some glasses. I was trying to be nerdy. And they were like, okay, good read. Literally in the room, here is Will Belmont. He's the jock. Can you go read these? Step out, take 5 minutes, come back in. Okay, read them. And they were like, okay, come back tomorrow for a callback. Did the callback. Got told that they were going to go a different way with the role. Didn't get the role. 3 or 4 weeks go by. I shoot something else. I was on like a web series at the time. And then one night, 10:30 at night, I get a call from my agent going, I just landed back in LA. I checked my voicemail. You booked Scream. And I go, what? That project that I didn't get? And they were like, yeah, I don't know why. And I was like hilarious. Yeah. So from auditioning to different role being Will, not getting the role, getting the role, and then the show gets picked up and we're rocking and rolling. It was such a roller coaster.
It's just constant, right? You got to grind.
Yes.
So when you get a series, like that's the best kind of job. because you have some place to go to work for a while, right?
That's literally it. So there's something you remember, pilot season, right?
Sure.
Which doesn't really exist anymore. It used to be January through March was like everybody comes to town, tries to get a pilot. If not, we go home. Then it expanded, whatever. It's not really existing anymore. But when we were on the show, me and the rest of the screencast, and it was the first pilot season in 10 years that I did not have to stress, because it was like,
right.
I'm going to Louisiana in April to shoot a show. I don't have to audition for anything, and I don't have to worry about it. It was so freeing. It was so weird. Otherwise, every other year, right, we're like 26 pages for this audition and then 10 pages for that. And like, just go nuts. So, yeah, it was really cool. I basically, at this point, if I get an audition and they're like, character dies in episode 3, I'm like, well, I'm going to book. Every single job I've booked. The only time that I didn't die was on my last Disney show. I was on the show Casey Undercover, which was an awesome show.
Let's not talk about work right now. Okay, let's just enjoy this moment.
When you worked in Burbank, did anybody famous come in?
Yeah, we Mario Lopez came in quite a bit. So that was cool. Andy Grammer, the musician, he was he tipped $100 to say that, right? That's what everybody wants to know. Like, how much did the celebrity tip? Also, Leslie Odom Jr., who played in the original cast of Hamilton on Broadway. He played Burr. Just such a wonderful guy. My wife actually waited on him, and so was very polite, but I'm so sorry. I'm just a mega fan. Can I just take a quick picture? Very nice about it. It's cool to see the celebrities who actually get it. We kind of come in full circle. The ones who are just bossy and want things, it's fine, and it's not, you expect that. But it's the ones that yes, they tip well, they're polite, all these things. You're they get it. They get it. Even if they're in a bad mood, they know that we are trying to make their night better. We're trying to serve them, and that I'm going to tell the story about.
Everybody's talking. Who'd you wait on?
Seriously.
I have waited on hundreds of celebrities over the years, and I like everybody who says, well, what was he like? What was she? Well, I don't know. I mean, they were just a person. It is cool to see, especially somebody you grew up with or you watched for a long time. Mario Lopez, we've been watching for 25 years. It's cool. It's like, oh, that's that guy I watch every night at home. Some of the celebrities will talk to you and be nice and cordial, and some not at all. They will you talk to the guy next to them. The guy next to him tips and pays. I just think I got 10 tables out here. He's one of them. If he's nice, cool.
Great. And you have to have that, because it's true. You have to do your job, to be good at your job. And I think a lot of people have that fantasy of well, maybe the celebrity will buddy up and we'll start to chat. And the reality is sometimes they just want to keep their head down and eat. Other time, so it really is that they really, and that's when the biggest tips have happened, by the way, is when the celebrity or the server, right? You can keep it together, take care of it. It's all good. And then they're like, thank you for giving me 5 minutes to just breathe.
Yeah.
There you go. See, we're all human, right? That's the biggest thing right there. So,
by the way, you were in McFarlane, awesome movie, right? You were the bad guy. You were the golfer runner, right? Palo Alto runner.
That's right. Done your research. Right. That's awesome. It was such a fun time. I mean, we were on set for 3 weeks, me and the rest of the runners. Such a blast. First of all, watching Kevin Costner work, who's just a cool pro. Not even old and the weird, just been doing it forever, absolutely killing it.
But you get an acting lesson right there, right? As he's going through it, you just taking notes.
You're trying, they're trying to position you in the background, and you're trying to get closer just to hear him deliver his lines, right?
Were you running miles and miles? Do it again, reset.
That was it. And you couldn't see the camera. They had these big dramatic shots. And it would be oh, guys, the camera's up in the mountain up there. So we need you to run. And then you're just oh, my God, okay. The worst one was we had this uphill shot where it was just, steep, straight uphill. And we had to overtake one of the leading runners, right? One of the McFarlane kids. Yeah. And they were we can't fake this. We can't have him slow down. We just need to believe that he's tiring out, and you guys got to pass him. So they're like, okay, here we go, action. He takes off and we're watching him. We're waiting to go, waiting for the stunt guy to like let us to go. We're waiting. Oh my God, he is all the way up that mountain and we have to pass him in the shot. So they were like, and finally action. And me and like 6 runners just take off after this kid, trying to pass him before we clear the shot. And it was just like uphill in the heat, running our butts off. It was a blast. It was a blast. It was great.
Definitely. Hey, it was a pleasure talking to you today. A half hour zip by like nothing. You got great stories, and I enjoyed it tremendously.
Yeah, this was so amazing. Thank you so much for having me on the show. This has been a real pleasure. Keep doing it. This is amazing.
Hey, very special thanks to Connor Weil for coming on the show today and being my guest. If you're a waiter out there, dream big. And if you're a customer, be nice to your waiter, because you never know if they're waiting to be famous. My name is Michael Fagan, and I'm still changing everything you think a waiter is, one story at a time. Thanks so much for watching.